lecture. This is an audio for the text of the play, Act 1. I'll read, and then I'll stop the recording and comment. So I want you, in fact, to listen. Before that, let me resume what we started last time with. We see that the play begins in Raina's bedroom in 1895. Then we see Raina's mother, Catherine, tells Raina that her fiancé Sergi, whose photograph is on the ostentatious display in the room, was very heroic in a battle of the Serbio-Bulgarian War that day. And she came to her room on the stage in order to tell her about that big news. He led, as she says, he led the cavalry in a charge. Raina is very happy because of that news. Earlier she had her own doubts about Sergio's bravery, and she thought that he was rather coward. Later we see that she will change her point of view. See? And I said last time, and this is one of the developments you see of characterization in this play introduced earlier in the beginning. Then the servant Luca comes in and says they must close the shutters of the windows because there is gunfire in the street. Also, I told you the symbolic significance of the window. Why do we have a window here, and what does it mean? I said that it is in fact just a gap, an opening, a vista, you see, or a screen, just like cinematic screen, in fact, to expose for the audiences, for the readers, what is going on, you see, outside this palace, outside the balcony, outside the window. There is gunfire, you see, and this is war, you see, and there is much danger that might somebody come to climb on the water pipe of this balcony. And this what happened later. We will discover again that one of the soldiers, you see, Serbian soldier, he was in fact a fugitive, and he came to climb the water pipe, and he would find himself right away in Raina's balcony, and then immediately to her room. You see, and this is the beginning. This is the beginning of Act 1, Section 1. You see, yeah. So Luca comes and says, you see, to close the shutter. But we know also last time that there is something bad in the latch of the windows. It doesn't work. You see. So Raina says, or they must. She says, Luca says that they must close the shutters because there is a gunfire in the street. Raina says she feels sorry for the Serbian soldiers. That's we know that she sympathizes with them. You see. Also, we know the innocent nature of the girl. We know that she was romantic. And this is why, you see, she opened the window, she found herself in the balcony, you see, interesting herself, you see, in the night scenery. She was looking for the beautiful sky, for the beautiful starlit sky. The sky was beautiful and was clear, you see. Although it was winter, although it is night, but the sky was rather very clear. It was not clouded, you see. So she was in fact concerned or interested in seeing that beautiful scenery. You see, we say this might reflect her innocence, her romantic nature, you see, and this is why she fell immediately. Later we will see that she would fall immediately in love with the stranger, with that, you see, fugitive soldier. Yeah, we complete. So Luca tells her in secret that the shutter doesn't work closely or properly because the latchet is broken, and Raina closes them and goes to bed. You see? So immediately later, a man breaks into the room, and he was a Serbian soldier trying to avoid capture and death. So Raina chides him, in fact, for being fearful of death. Yeah, since he is a soldier, he should not fear death. You see, this is out of nature of any soldier or any participant in war. You see, and he says that all soldiers are. You see, in fact, there is no bravery. He wants to say that there is no bravery as far as one is in front of death. You see, so a Bulgarian officer then comes. You see, just to complete the story. Bulgarian officer then comes, you see, to this house, to the palace, looking for the fugitive soldier, then whom someone saw climb up Raina's balcony. Raina now hides the man in her bedroom, we say, and lies about being there. She lies to everybody, to her mother first, and to the Bulgarian officer. So the officer chalks it up. That is, he checks. He wants to say, or to be certain that there is nobody in the house, and then he leaves. And this is the end of section 1 and beginning of section 2 of Act 1. Yeah. So let us start again from the beginning, from where we stopped last time, and I want you, in fact, to listen. You see, this is where we stopped. This is where we stopped. I want you, in fact, to follow me. Open your books, and if you don't find, you see, your books available, you can follow me here on the screen. So, Catherine, you see, Catherine with surging enthusiasm. She's, you see, yeah. Act 1. Catherine with surging enthusiasm. You can't guess how splendid it is. A cavalry charge. Think of that. He defied our Russian commanders, acted without orders, led a charge on his own responsibility. Edith himself was the first man to sweep through their guns. Can't you see it, Raina? Our gallant, splendid Bulgarians, with their swords and eyes flashing, thundering down like an avalanche, and scattering the lynched Serbian MDs like chaff. And you kept Sergius waiting a year before you would be betrothed to him. Oh, if you have a drop of Bulgarian blood in your veins, you will worship him when he comes back, Raina. What will he care for my poor little worship after the acclamations of a whole army of heroes? But no matter. I'm so happy, so proud. She rises and walks about excitedly. It proves that all our ideas were real after all. Catherine indignantly. Our ideas real? What do you mean, Raina? Our ideas of what Sergius would do, our patriotism, our heroic ideas. Oh, what faithless little creatures goes on. I sometimes used to doubt whether they were anything but dreams. When I buckled on Sergius's sword, he looked so noble. It was treason to think of delusion, or humiliation, or failure. And yet, promise me you will never tell him? Catherine, don't ask me for promises until I know what I'm promising. Raina, well, it came into my head just as he was holding me in his arms and looking into my eyes, that perhaps we only had our heroic ideas because we are so fond of reading Byron, Christine, and because we were so delighted with the opera that season at Bucharest. Real life is so seldom like that, and it never, as far I knew it then, the most steady. Only think, mother, I doubted him. I wondered whether all his hero qualities and his soldiership might not prove mere imagination when he went into a real battle. I had an easy fear that he might cut a poor figure there beside all those clever Russian officers. Right, Catherine? A poor figure? Shame on you! The Serbians have Austrian officers who are just as clever as our Russians, but we have beaten them in every battle for all that. Raina, laughing and sitting down again. Yes, I was only protected the coward. Oh, to think that it was all true. The Sergius is just as splendid and noble as he looks. That the world is really glorious world for women who can see its glory and men who can act its romance. What happiness, what unspeakable fulfillment. Ah, she throws herself on her knees beside her mother, and you see, so here, in fact, there is very important information concerning the countries who intervened in the war. Yes, there is war between Bulgaria on one side and Serbia on the other, but there are other countries who intervened. That is, who were prejudiced, who took sided for that part or for this part or for that part. So we have Austrian, we have Russian, and then we will see, you see, a Swiss soldier, in fact he was a merchant, you see, coming into scene. Yeah. This is again important. This is important, and we know that. I mean, in last lecture we covered all these things. Yes, we resume. Flings her arms passionately round her. They are interrupted by the entry of Luca, a handsome, proud girl in a pretty Bulgarian peasant's dress with double apron, so defiant that her civility to Raina is almost insolent. She's afraid of Catherine, but even with... You see, now, earlier also, last time, we know the introduction of two characters on this stage. We know Raina, then we see Catherine coming to the stage, and we listen through their speech that there is another yet character who was Luca. So we know Luca's name before the introduction of this character in person, you see. Moreover, there is another character, in fact, we listen to her name, that is Sergius. We listen to his name before we see him, you see, through his photograph. This is why we divided, in fact, the characters in this stage into two parts or two groups. Those who are on stage and those who are off stage. At the beginning, Luca was off stage. We just listen or know her name, then later we will see her, you see, in flesh and blood. Yeah. Later, again, Sergius come. You see, but now Sergius is not available, is not present on the stage. This is why he remains off stage. You see, so Luca will come to tell the family, Raina and her mother, about the necessity of closing the shutters because there was gunfire. You see. Also, I want you, in fact, I want to attract your attention to the use of naturalism here. I say naturalism is available in this text, you see, in every line and through the description, through the stage direction that is here. You see, George Bernaccio give us details concerning the action Luca does. We know her personality, we know her attitude, we know her features, countenance, whatsoever, you see. So she, at the beginning, she says, or he says, she throws herself on her knees, etc. Luca comes, you see. I want you just to see that. Luca comes. Luca is described by George Bernaccio as being handsome, proud girl in a pretty Bulgarian peasant dress, you see, with double apron, defiant, you see, etc., insolent. She's afraid of Catherine. So everything, in fact, concerning the characterization of this character is given, is provided by the dramatist. Again, he says she has no sympathy for Raina's raptures and looks contemptuously at the ecstasies of the two before she addresses them. See, that is, although she works as a servant in this house, and she is paid for being a servant, she doesn't love them. She doesn't love the family, and she thinks that she is better than those who she serves. You see, that she is a servant, but she hates them. Now Luca comes. What does she say? She says that, please close your windows. Yeah. Goes as far as she dares. She's just now excited like the others, but she has no sympathy for Aina's raptures and looks contemptuously at the ecstasies of the two before she addresses them. Luca, if you please, madame, all the windows are to be closed and the shutters made fast. They say there may be shooting in the streets. Raina and Catherine's house together a lot. The Servians are being chased right back through the pass, and they say they may run into the town. Our cavalry will be after them, and our people will be ready for them, you may be sure. Now they are running away. She goes out on the balcony and pulls the outside shutters too. Then steps back into the room. Raina, you see, in a way, now Luca gives us, in fact, a war report. Now, what we are listening to can be considered as a report, as if she works as if she is a war correspondent. You see, a war correspondent. That is, she gives what is going on, you see, in the street. There is shooting. She says, there is shooting in the street. What else? The Servians are being chased. That is, they have lost the war, you see. So there is shooting, and there is losers in this war, and and there are some people or some parts who are victorious, who are triumphant. So the Servians are the losers, and they are being chased right back, you see. So this is a report. This is a report of the war. That is, we know the goings on of the war through Luca. And what does she say? She adds, they say they may run into the town because they are fugitive, because they have lost the war. So they may plunge, they may force their ways into this Bulgarian city, you see, which lies or which is situated on the borders near the war front. Near the war front. Our cavalry, she says, will be after them. There is chasing, you see. So the Servians are losers, are defeated in one way, you see, and the Bulgarians are chasing them again. She says, our people will be ready for them, you may be sure. Now they are running away. Again and again, this fact, you see, of defeat is stressed again by Luca. So Luca, in fact, here plays this role, and I want you, in fact, just to pay attention to her role. So she works as a war correspondent. She hates the family, you see, whom she works in their house, you see, and she is paid for that, you see. So this is part of her character. This is part of her character. Again, we will see that she will love, or she will in fact tempt Sergius, you see, into her love, I mean, she will take Sergius to her side, to her love, to her bosom, you see, and she will steal, in one way, she will steal Ryane's fiancé, you see, from her. Although Ryana is betrothed to Sergius, but Luca, in fact, woos after him, you see, or let us say Sergius is a bad man. Sergius is not faithful to his girl Ryana. You see, again, this is a justification made by the dramatist George Bernaccio, in fact, to justify the reason why Ryana will fall in love with the stranger, with the fugitive, you see, who comes into her room. You see, so she will love. We know that in coming events we will see how Ryana is sympathetic, in fact, sympathetic with the stranger, with the Serbian fugitive. You see, and immediately she will fall in love with him, forgetting everything about Sergius. You see, so in juxtaposition, later we will see